Social sciences are among the most important sciences in terms of shaping the environment in which people live. I mean, economics, psychology, pedagogy, sociology, archaeology, it depends where you put history. I mean, all of these sciences are already producing the world of science and technology. And think of the importance of political science, for instance. So it's already there. What is probably important for science and technology studies to contribute to science and technology production is, well, first to try to educate the scientists and the engineers in a different way of their practice. I mean, this might be impossible, but we have to try. And the other thing is that now all of the issues are requiring, as we will see tomorrow actually, that different ways of linking science and politics be achieved. Because we live in the time of the Anthropocene, so it's, when you take a scientific topic, you end up studying humans, and when you study a human, you end up studying a piece of science. So it's very important that it becomes possible for, even for the scientists themselves, to get into connection with the social sciences in a very, very different way than it was the case before. Well, it's important because the scientists are completely unable to make their job. I mean, look at the climate dispute. I mean, there's absolutely no way the scientists tell us, and have told us for now 20 years what's the situation, and nothing happens. The people are completely stuck. So it means that it's not knowledge, which is, of course, I mean, knowledge is not enough to make you do anything.
The second theory of constructivism is social constructivism. This theory suggests that we learn by constructing knowledge through social interactions with others and through culturally meaningful activities. It is also known as second wave constructivism. This theory connects to Vygotsky's ideas that our social and cultural context create learning. And it also connects to the idea that we learn from working with more competent or more knowledgeable individuals. So in the classroom, that means that students can be learning from their peers and also from feedback from their teachers. However, Vygotsky is seen as both an individual and social constructivist because his ideas consider the interaction of cognition and culture. And he looks at how cultural tools like language shape our thinking, but also how new ideas can create new aspects of culture. A related theory is social constructionism, which focuses on how public knowledge is constructed rather than individual learning. Constructionism asks how knowledge in disciplines like math, science, history, and English is constructed, and how our everyday beliefs about behavior are made. As Woolfolk points out, one of the most important ideas in social constructionism is realizing that some people have more power than others to define what constitutes such knowledge. And constructionists examine why this is and try to find ways to challenge this. One of the questions that constructivists discuss is, how is knowledge constructed? And there are three common answers to this question. The first answer is that knowledge is constructed from the external world, which means that there is an objective reality that we are learning more and more about. An example of this would be information processing. The second answer is that knowledge is constructed from our internal processes, which suggests that reality is subjective and depends on an individual's perspective. An example of this would be Piaget's theories. The third answer is that knowledge is constructed from the interaction of external and internal factors, which means that our knowledge is created when the outside world is seen through our beliefs, cultures, and social interactions. So an example of this would be Vygotsky's theories, because he suggests that we use cultural tools to understand the world. For example, when we observe the stars, we look at them and then we see the patterns of constellations that have been created through our culture. A second key question that constructionists discuss is knowledge Situated or general? If knowledge is situated, then it means it depends on the time, place, and context of the learning, or it depends on the community of practice that it occurs within. This means that something that may be true in one time or place could become false at another time or location. For example, in the past, people believed that the Earth was flat. Other examples include that there are different classroom expectations in different classes, and if you were trained to be a chef by working in a certain restaurant. If, however, knowledge is seen as general, then it means that it remains constant and universal, no matter the time or place that it occurs within. For example, there's the mathematical fact that 1 + 1 is always 2. Finally, applying social constructivism in the classroom can take many different forms, such as group work, class debates, Socratic seminars, role-playing, experiments, and case studies. Essentially, any activity in which your students are working together to construct knowledge is the use of social constructivism.
This is the primer for Reassembling the Social, an introduction to actor network theory by Bruno Latour. Bruno Latour was born in 1947 to a wine grower family in France and was originally a philosopher before becoming an anthropologist and sociologist of science. He currently serves as a professor at Sciences Po Paris and director of the TARDE program, which stands for Theory of Actor Network and Research in Digital Environments. He is considered one of the primary developers of the actor network theory. The actor network theory originated from a need for a new social theory that could be adjusted to the science and technology studies, where non-humans lend themselves to social theory as actors, not just vessels of symbolic meaning. On page 64, an actor is defined as the name of a movement, a displacement, a transformation, a translation, and enrollment. It is an association between entities which are in no way recognizable as being social in the ordinary manner, except during the brief moment when they are reshuffled together. An example of this is seen in a supermarket. No specific shelf or aisle is an actor, rather the organization of the goods, their packaging, pricing, and labeling are considered actors because those details reveal to an observer different combinations that can be explored. The networks, if you will. Unlike Biker in the reading we just read, the main goal of the actor network theory is to overcome the breakdown of society into case studies. It is much more important to check what are the new institutions, procedures, and concepts able to collect and to reconnect the social, than to look back and fit previous inventions into groups that fit your theory. In the section titled Learning to Feed Off Controversies, Latour begins with a series of questions that point out something invisible yet tangible, namely, the social. He says that it is all too common to try and figure out the answers to these questions by shrinking what is included in the term social, thus polluting the term's scientific and productive aspects. He instead suggests that one approaches the social by looking at 5 controversies about what the social realm is made of. The first is the nature of groups, which focuses on giving an actor an identity. The second is the nature of actions, which is how the actor may displace goals. The third is the nature of objects, the variety of other factors that influence the actor. The fourth, nature of facts, how the natural sciences relate to the rest of society. And finally, the types of studies that fall under the social science umbrella. The actor network theory stacks these uncertainties on top of one another to form one large confusing mess. But through using the actor network theory and having great patience, you can find clarity. The actor network theory seeks to discover new actors not yet fully accepted by taking the road less traveled. One of its main goals is to determine where certain actors fit in society only after they've gotten there. It's like gender-neutral parenting, where the parents try not to pigeonhole their child into a specific gender based solely on their biological sex. The actor network theory does this through making connections between controversies rather than attempting to solve them. The text gives an example of a cartographer trying to record the shape of a foreign coast. Rather than trying to fit the coast into a predetermined map, the cartographer takes a blank piece of paper and begins to record the coast as she sees it. So it is with this society. The actor network theory doesn't try to keep society stable and fit it into a box. It goes with the ebbs and flows of where society takes it. Relativism is a way to float on data, not to drown them. Making these connections between controversies seems counterintuitive and requires the analyst to let all preconceived notions go. One can follow the status quo or allow the situation to guide you, like Pocahontas' spinning arrow.
Seems to me, this spinning arrow is pointing you down your path.
But Grandmother Willow, what is my path? How am I?
Unlike Pocahontas, who follows her heart, the actor network theory follows the links between the controversies. Some may think these controversies are bad, but the actor network theory holds that controversies are good. Their presence means that the social isn't stagnant, but ever-changing and ever-growing. When tackling these controversies, the first source of uncertainty is the nature of grouping. The common process is to pigeonhole actors into groups. Sociologists look at which groups are preferable and always make one group real and the other artificial. There is always one dominant group with higher favor than the others. It is natural for us to regroup, but the actor network theory aims to move the focus from these groups and who forms them, and instead places the focus on the existence of the boundaries. The actor network theory's duty is to begin in the middle of things and look deeply into the controversies around the groups the actor belongs in. This allows the actor to be heard and tell the story rather than caging them in. When viewing which groups the actor is in, the actor's voice should be stronger than the analyst's. I hope you enjoyed this brief introduction to the actor network theory. I only touched on the beginning stages of it, but I hope it was enough to help you understand and maybe want to learn about it more.